We have some breaking news as Auston Matthews has officially been ruled out of Game 6 tonight against the Boston Bruins. And we also have some updates on the reason why he's missing it. So I'm going to break that down in this episode, as well as discuss some other things before the big Game 6. We have a lot of updates with the lines and some other things to discuss. Stay tuned for all that in this episode. Before we do, a quick reminder, hit the subscribe button. We're very close to 8,000 subscribers. So if you haven't hit it already and you want to help us towards that road and you're part of the 80% who aren't subscribed, make sure to do that. But Darius, we have a lot to get into today, and not the news that Leafs fans wanted to wake up to. We're now just about 7 hours away from puck drop tonight in the biggest game of the year, and really the biggest game in a very long time for the Leafs, because again, there's a lot of consequences if they lose tonight. And we woke up and we saw that Auston Matthews skated hard for approximately 30 minutes with the conditioning staff, but why it's likely that the Leafs star does not play tonight, or why it's unlikely, sorry. And then it does come out saying that per Sheldon Keefe, Auston Matthews is out for Game 6, so he's not playing tonight. I would say there's a chance he plays in Game 7, and we'll get into a couple of things that we saw about the reason why. But Darius, no Matthews tonight. They played better without him last time. Obviously, most likely a coincidence, but there's no Matthews tonight, and it's not ideal if you're the Leafs.
No, it straight up sucks. And it was looking positive because if you're following it all morning, he was on the ice early on before the morning skate, putting in some work, and he looked like pretty good. He looked better than he did the last time I saw a video of him skating. But he was skating with Bobby McMahon, so it was looking like, yeah, he's probably not going to play. And obviously been ruled out, and he's a huge part of the Leafs team. But again, like you said, they played great without him last game. And could be a coincidence, but it could also be that they realize they can't funnel the puck to him every single chance that they get, and maybe they're trying to pick up the slack and actually play better. It seems like they changed their offensive game a little bit, and we're actually generating chances with zone pressure instead of just off the rush shot, and stuff like that. So hopefully they can continue it into tonight, and hopefully they want to continue not only their season but Matthews' season, win another game so you can see if Matthews gets in there. But yeah, again, not playing tonight, and everyone's gonna have to work that much harder to get it done.
Yeah, very unfortunate news, because we say the pressure was on the Bruins, which it still is to a degree, but not having your best player is going to be very rough, especially on a power play that's been as bad as it has been. And there's some other things to go over here. Let's start with this. So this is Elliot Friedman. He said, "I don't believe," and we covered this yesterday, that this is an illness anymore. And there was another reporter, I don't remember the exact name of the guy, but it's basically speculating, or not speculating. He believes that something came along with the illness when he was trying to get back. It started with an illness. He tried to skate, get back on the ice, and then he hurt something on his body. I'm not sure whether it's an upper body injury, lower body injury, but it seems like he did get hurt physically while trying to come back from his injury. So Darius, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, like we discussed yesterday, but it's not good, and that's why he's not just being, not going to not play because of an illness in a must-win Game 6 against the Bruins at home, nonetheless.
Yeah, it's got to be way more than an illness at this point. And we talked about it yesterday. I think I talked about it on the stream. Elliot Friedman's been saying it for a couple of days already that that's what he believes. I even saw Emily Kaplan, who's on ESPN right before the Dallas and Vegas game yesterday. She said that she made a couple calls, and to her knowledge, that's exactly what happened. He did have an illness. That part is not fake. He was sick. He played through it. Something happened in one of the games that he played through the illness in that made something worse, or he injured something, and now he's dealing with something on top of. He might be fine in terms of the illness. Like maybe he's over that. We don't know 100%, but he is dealing with some sort of injury. Something else is ailing him now, that it's not just the illness. So obviously they're not going to tell us, and we won't find out exactly what it is until the Leafs season is done, whether that be tonight, Game 7, second round, whenever that is. We'll only find out then. So I guess we can, try and stop speculating, but it's just hard to when they don't give you much. They just say, yeah, he has an illness, but when it lingers for 5 days, almost a week, it's pretty weird. So he looked good today skating. So hopefully maybe he gets into a Game 7, but for him to be missing games like this, elimination games, it is something serious. There is a serious injury there.
Yeah, and if he ends up and the Leafs end up winning this series somehow, you gotta hope now that his status for the next series would be in jeopardy, and hopefully he can come back for Game 7 if they get there. But I would presume that if he's missing this game, then it's something about as serious as, not obviously as serious as you can get, but something very serious to hold him out. Because again, this is now the second report. Really, there's probably been, I think, two or three that I've read saying that it's an injury now that started with an illness. So I think we have that part down. he was sick. He tried to play through the sickness, and maybe your muscles are weaker when you're sick. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming that is the case. And then he somehow hurt himself. We don't know where during one of the games where he was sick, and I don't think it's a major injury. I wouldn't say just because he didn't get smoked or hit or hurt or anything, but something is definitely bothering him, and I think that that's definitely the play there. So any quick final thoughts on that? Is not ideal, but it's fine. The Leafs will win anyway, I hope.
You'd hope. I mean, they played great last game, so without him, I think they can put an effort like that together again. And the Bruins are going to be nervous. Just the fact of the matter, they might come out confident, but somewhere in the game, unless the Bruins score in the first minute, they're going to be a little bit nervous. It's just the way it is. And the first thing that came to mind too, because it looks like this Matthews thing, we don't even know about Game 7 if the Leafs make it to Game 7, his status. First thing that came to mind is back in 2002. This is for the older fans. Matt Sundin got hurt in the first round. Your best player gets hurt in the first round. He was gone for 2 rounds after that. He only returned when the Leafs made the conference final. They had guys step up in the wake of his injury and carry them to the conference final, right? It's just next man up mentality. Okay, our best player is out. How do we get this done? They're just gonna have to find a way to do that because, like Leafs teams in the past, they did find those ways to get it done and to take the team to the conference final without your best player. And in that era, it was much harder to do, I think. But they're just gonna have to find a way without Matthews, and I think they did last game, and they're gonna have to do it again. And I think they can do it as long as they play similar to Game 5.
And obviously, they're way worse so far this postseason on home ice, which is a bit of a scary thing. But you look at the impact chart from the game in overtime a couple of days ago, and Darius, you talk about next man up. You can look at a few people here. Mitch Marner was even though he gets a lot of hate, he had a very good game. Like I mentioned, and you mentioned as well in the post game. Morgan Riley, and obviously the biggest one was Max Domi sliding into that center spot and winning like 90 or 85 or 80% of his faceoffs. If they can continue to step up like that, even Ilya Lyubushkin had a good game. Matthew Knies is going to be playing with some new energy now, and who knows what the lines are confirmed. Whether Ryan Reeves is in or out is yet to be seen fully. But I think, Darius, that they have the talent to beat the Bruins even without Auston Matthews right now, just based on everything. It looks like Swayman is going to be behind the net, but if Mitch Marner can step up and Max Domi can continue to play, even Tyler Bertuzzi, like you look at all these guys that stepped up, if they would have played like this with Auston Matthews in the lineup, then we probably wouldn't be in a spot right now where we're fighting for a Game 7 in a series. But there's a lot that goes into it, and I think if the Leafs can just play like this again, and whether maybe Auston Matthews being out has sparked them to some degree or something happened, because last game they looked like a completely different team than they did throughout the first 4 games. So it's looking, I'm not going to say it's looking good, but you have to be somewhat encouraged by this score chart and by by watching the game yesterday or 2 days ago, sorry.
Yeah, I think you do have to be because they did play, like you said, like an entirely different team, like a team on a mission. And I think you like to see that. Leaf fans like to see that. You don't like to see the team just win based on their skill. Well, when they win, that's great either way. But you want to see the team really dig in and try. And I'm looking for another big night from that top line or the makeshift top line of Marner, Domi, and Bertuzzi. So it's going to be a fun one. Just enjoy the ride, like I've been saying the entire playoffs. And hopefully they give us something to cheer about because the first half of the series hasn't been great, but the luck might start to turn in the Leafs' favor because not much has gone the Leafs' way in the series. So hopefully it turns a little bit here. But as long as you put in the effort and you work hard, I think that's all that Leaf fans can ask for, really, even if you do lose. But I think they can still get it done. I do think that they have it in them. They just have to apply it. And we saw it in Game 5, and they're going to have to do it again tonight and in Game 7 if they force a Game 7.
Yeah, hopefully they can do it because if they force a Game 7, then we're talking about a whole different conversation regarding pressure. But that'll wrap it up. Let us know what your thoughts are on the video in the comments below, and we'll see you later.